Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into the principles of building AI agents, drawing from the work of Sam Bhagwat. Let's just jump right in with the big question.
Okay, so you've probably played around with ChatGPT, right? Had a chat, asked it some questions, but the tech is moving so much faster than that. The real question we need to ask is, what's the difference between that simple chatbot and a true AI agent?
And the book gives us this just a fantastic analogy to understand this. Think of a simple chatbot, like a freelance contractor. You hire them for one specific job, and once it's done, poof, they're gone. An AI agent, though, that's more like a full-time employee. It sticks around, it remembers you, it has a specific role, and this is the crucial part, it has tools to actually get things done in the world.
So, if we're going to build this AI employee, we've got to start at the foundation. And just like with us, that all starts with the brain.
The brain of the agent, well, that's its large language model, the LLM. At its core, it's this incredibly sophisticated engine that's just been trained to predict the next word. And you know, the entire AI boom we're seeing today, you can trace it all back to just one paper from Google researchers back in 2017. Seriously, that one paper, it unlocked everything.
So how do we talk to this brain? Well, you've got two main ways. First, there's what the book calls the YOLO approach. You just throw a question at it and hope for the best. But the real magic, the real power, comes from what's called few-shot prompting. This is where you give the model a couple of really good examples of what you're looking for. And when you do that, you're not just asking a question anymore. You're actually teaching it how to think for the specific job you need done.
Okay, so a brilliant brain is great and all, but if it's just stuck in a box and can't actually do anything in the real world, its potential is totally wasted. So what's the next logical step? We have to give that brain a body.
And this right here is where an agent really starts to feel alive. The body is made up of two critical things. First, you give it tools. Think of these as its hands and feet. They're what let the agent take action. You know, it can search the web, it can query a database, maybe even book a flight for you. And second, you give it memory. This is like its notebook. It's how the agent remembers what you've talked about before, so it can learn and get better at helping you over time.
The author gives this absolutely perfect and honestly hilarious example of how this working memory actually works. See, the agent he uses has been building up a profile of him based on their chats. The only problem is, his kids use it too. So the agent's memory has confidently decided that he is a 5-year-old girl who just loves squishmallows. It's pretty funny, right? But it's also a fantastic illustration of how these agents are constantly building context about it.
So you can see how building an agent is this really logical, step-by-step process. First, you start with that core intelligence, the LLM brain. Then you bolt on the ability to act with tools, the hands and feet. And finally, you give it the ability to learn with memory, the notebook. It's brain, body, and notebook. Simple as that.
Okay, so a single agent is already incredibly powerful. But what about for really, really complex problems? Well, for those, one AI employee just isn't going to cut it. You have to start thinking bigger. You need to build an entire team of them. And this is where things get just next level fascinating. Instead of having one single agent trying to do everything at once, you build a whole system of multiple agents where each one has a very specific skill. The book makes this amazing point. This is basically just organizational design, but for AI. Suddenly, you're not just a coder anymore. You're a manager, and you're hiring and coordinating a whole digital workforce.
A really popular way to do this is called the agent supervisor model. Just picture a content creation team. You'd have one publisher agent that acts like the boss. It decides, hey, we need a new article about this topic. Then it hands that task off to a specialized copywriter agent who actually writes the first draft. And once that's done, it gets passed to an editor agent whose only job is to review it for quality. It's like building an AI assembly line, breaking a huge job down into small, manageable pieces.
So all of these ideas, from the basic brain to giving it a body to building entire teams of AIs, they're all evolving at this absolutely breathtaking speed. And that brings us to our final and maybe the most critical point of all, just the incredible, mind-bending pace of this change.
I mean, just look at this timeline from the creation of the book itself. The first edition gets published in March. By May, just 2 months later, so much has already happened in the world of AI that a second edition with major updates is already necessary. It's wild. The author calls it the eternal September of AI. It's this idea that the technology is moving so fast that we're all kind of permanent newbies, always trying to catch up.
And really, that's the big takeaway here. All these concepts we've talked about, agents, tools, teams of AIs, this isn't sci-fi anymore. The tools to build them are actually here. The principles are being figured out and written down as we speak. So we're left with this one last, really provocative question.
The Lego bricks are all over the table. The only question left is, what are we going to build?